Shabbat Shalom. I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am very proud to be joined this evening by Leslie Zucker, our choir and our band. We're also pleased to welcome back Randy Deitch to our worship team there on the bass. He used to be a regular for many, many years.
He'd still be a regular if the drive weren't such a pain.
San Antonio is not around the corner, but it's still. Special thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls, and also to our digital docents who are managing the streaming. For those of you joining us here in person, we're calling the page numbers in the square brackets, and also make sure that all your electronic devices are on silent. This morning, we learned that the U.S. Supreme Court reversed the decision that for almost 50 years had granted women their constitutional right to make their own health care decisions. Many of us feel angry, fearful, and defiant. Pride Shabbat is a celebration, but it is also a recognition that for most of our history, we did not value visibility. We did not celebrate. Just like at the end of the Jewish wedding, we break a glass to remind us of the suffering of our people. Today, too, in the middle of our celebration, we leave a corner to remember that much unfinished work is now left ahead of us. Let us resolve to regroup, to re-energize, and organize to bring about equal rights for all. This evening, we have lots of different readings. They all come from Mishkan Ga'ava, the new, now a year-old addition to the prayer book from the Reform movement with readings about pride. So most of the readings will be on the screen, the special readings, and the rest is going to be on your prayer book. Now, for those of you at home, the PDF that you received has everything in order.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, and it's also our tradition to read everything together, so please feel free to join us on the screen. When I see a rainbow on the flag flying from the lamppost, fluttering in the Pacific breeze, I know that God made a covenant between us. If we lived our lives in black and white, we would never see that promise made. To see all those colors together reminds me that God is there for you and me. As we welcome Shabbat together, we continue at the top of page 134 with Zamru Ladonai.
Yeah.
Page 138, we continue together with Lecha Dodi. We are singing together stanzas 1, 2, 3, 5, and 9. That's correct? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 9. And I want to thank Leslie for making the arrangement for this. We've been singing this along the way all year long, and we haven't really gotten around to actually have it done together. So
What
thank
he means
you.
is that I didn't get it right yet until tonight.
We joined together. This is a prayer composed by Rabbi Reuben Zellman in 2009. As the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we offer a blessing for the twilight. For twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. All of us have many. We can never be fully labeled or defined. All of us have many identities and loves, many genders and none. All of us are in between roles and an intersection of histories. All of us are crisscrossed. Neither day nor night.
We are both, neither, and all. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision.
May this in-between light illuminate our way to the God who transcends all categories and definitions. May the in-between people who have come to pray be lifted out
into this twilight. We cannot always be defined.
We can always be a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hayotzer et hadimdumim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who brings on the twilight.
We'll continue reading together. You have loved the people Israel with a never-ending love. You have given us your Torah, laws, and statutes to guide us so that our lives may be filled with holiness and happiness. We know that we must find ways to strengthen our faith and hope in you. Your Torah acts as our inspiration. Help us, O God, to find ways to renew our commitments as Jews. Teach us to feel proud of all of our identities. For you, Eternal One, made us as we are. We say, praised are you, source of all, who is the love. Oh, sorry, wrong way. We did Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you of your people Israel.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. That just repeats. Roll into dark. בכל עברך ובכל חושך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לברך, ושילתם לבניך ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטפטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לעולכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Continue together. God did not lead us by the nearer way when Pharaoh let the people go at last, but round about by the way of the wilderness, pillars of fire and cloud marking night and day, to the edge of the flood tide, uncrossable and vast. If God had led us by the nearer way, we cried, we wouldn't die here. Let Egypt oppress us as it will. Let us return to the past. But we have come out by way of the wilderness, in fear, on faith, free now, because we say we are free, no longer the unchosen, the outcast. God did not lead us by the nearer way, but into the rising waters, which do not part unless with an outstretched arm we step forward and stand fast, round about by way of the wilderness. We have come blessed with love, lesbian, gay, or sanctified in ways of our own, to bless our God, who did not lead us by the near way, but round about by way of the wilderness.
O God of truth and justice, the evasions and deceit upon others and upon ourselves are many. We long only to speak and hear the truth, yet time and time again, fear of loss or hope of gain, from dull habit or from cruel deliberations, we speak half-truths, we twist facts, we are silent when others lie, we lie to ourselves. As lesbian and gay men, transgender people, family members and friends, we sometimes feel forced to pretend to be that which we are not, to present ourselves in which we are true, and sometimes there are tried lies. But as we stand before you, our words and thoughts speak to the one who knows them before we utter them. We do not have to tell untruths to you, as we are often forced to do in the world. We know we cannot lie in your presence. May our worship help us to practice truth in speech and in thought before you, to ourselves and before one another. And may we finally complete our liberation, so that we no longer feel the need to practice evasions and deceits. Eternal God, purify our hearts to serve you in truth.
Yiratzon imrefi, Yiratzon imrefi, Vegon levi leflaneka, Adonai zuri vegoli. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Say shalom min Rablah, Yaseh shalom aleinu, Ya'akro Yisrael, Ve'imru.
We come now to the moment in our service where we sing together a prayer for healing, the healing of mind, healing of body, or healing of spirit. For those of you in person, you have a copy of our Misha Bayrock list, those for whom we are saying this prayer for tonight. And for those of you at home, it is linked in the Facebook chat and was in the e-news you received this morning. If you are watching at home and would like to share the name of someone you are thinking of, please type their name in the chat box and hit enter. For those of us together in person tonight, I invite you to share the names of your loved ones who could benefit from a prayer for healing as my hand passes across the room.
David Lerner, Keith Swenson, Jackie Goldberg,
And together we sing the words found on page 371. Blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace.
Thank you, Rabbi Kleiman. We join together now in our Simcha moment. For those of you at home, you can go ahead and share a Simcha, a special joy from this past week, by typing them in the comments on Facebook Live, and I can watch those. And in about 15 seconds, I will see them. That's how it works. Anyways, just use a few words and click enter. For those of us here in person, you were gonna do what this lady is already doing. It's not hard to explain it, but you do have to tell us who you are and why you're here.
I'm Carol, and I had one of those moments this week. I always seem to be able to recover from them, but I had this wonderful little wallet that I use at airports and, you know, when I have to show ID, and it has my driver's license, it's got my insurance card, it's got my vaccination card, it's got a little money. And I took it out to show somebody my new driver's license, which has my purple hair in it. And apparently, my little wallet did not get back into my purse. And they found it, and we're still trying to connect so that I can retrieve it. But in the meanwhile, I had to go to the lab today, and I had filled out the form online. And because I had taken pictures of everything, I was able to upload them to the form, and so I was fine. I didn't need any more proof that I was who I was.
They just have to ask us, you know, we have proof every week. All right, go ahead.
I'm Elizabeth Applebaum. My nickname is Betsy, and my simcha is I'm going to participate in a program called Day of Discovery. The rabbis put this on every year, and there are several talks of Jewish interest. The title of mine is Jewish Perceptions in Broadway Music. And Susie Adams, our wonderful pianist, is going to do this with me. We're going to play some of the great tunes, and I'll read the lyrics and summarize the story and talk about Jewish values. For instance, one of my favorite Jewish values is being kind to strangers. And I just realized this recently. These plays are written by Jews, and they have Jewish propaganda. For instance, Old Man River from Showboat by Jerome Kern. That shows great compassion for the suffering of the black people who worked on the Mississippi. So you'll get an announcement in the mail probably. It's August 21st, and I hope you'll come.
Thank you. Simchas and promotions.
Oh, you're going to laugh when you hear what I have to say. My name is Edna, and I...
Get a little closer to the microphone so we can hear.
Now, I definitely want you to hear this. My name is Edna, and I'm happy to remember my LGBTQ plus friends from California to Massachusetts, from Missouri to Colorado, from Florida to Georgia, Massachusetts, and everywhere in between. In all those places I've lived. Friends past, present, and future by participating in this glorious Pride Shabbat. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nina, and I just had a birthday.
So, my name is Zachary Zwiebelman, and I got my niece Flowface here with me. So about a year ago, I was up here for founding and starting the Pride Network at my employment, and the way I bring it back to like what happened this week is what's really amazing is the voice it's given to the employees that didn't feel comfortable to either stand up or speak up to the issues they were having. And so that's some of the stuff that we've been dealing with this week, and that just, makes me really happy to see that happen.
Hi, I'm Sierra Debro, and I have officially lived here for a year. And I am the first openly non-binary person working at the Jewish Federation here in Kansas City. So I'm really excited to be here for as long as y'all will have me. Y'all, as you can tell, I'm from the South.
We'll always have you back, Sarah. So I'm Rabbi Kleinman, and this week my son got his first COVID vaccine because now the little ones are finally eligible. So it is indeed a simcha for people with loved ones under the age of 5.
We often share a parable of wisdom during this simcha moment, and the one I chose for today is probably the one that I can only read once a year on Pride Shabbat. So it's called A Blessing for Pride, and it comes from Mishkan Ga'ava, where Pride Dwells, a celebration of LGBTQ Jewish life and ritual, came out last year. Mekor HaChaim, source of life, you have blessed each of us with your spirit. In your wisdom, you have made each of us a unique treasure. Ma'ayan Chayenu, wellspring of our lives, cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion, to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully. Shekhinah Shel Ahava, presence of love, you embrace us with your love. May we embrace ourselves, our partners, our lovers, our friends, our children, our dear ones, with the power of your Ahava Rabbah, your unending, boundless love. Ruach HaShalom, Spirit of peace and wholeness, open our eyes to the gifts and blessings that we offer and receive from each other. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each other with joy, with song, and with deep friendship. Today, as we celebrate renewal, pride, and community, let us walk together with strength, compassion, and love. Nevarech et Mayan Chayenu, Asher tekadesh v'tesameach otanu. We bless you, wellspring of our lives. May you fill us with joy and sanctity. We now have a special guest. Our guest was raised by a single mother who served in the Army for 20 years. And after graduating from Leavenworth High School, she worked her way through Johnson County Community College and the University of Missouri, Kansas City, before earning a law degree from Cornell Law School. When she was sworn into the 116th Congress, she became the first openly LGBTQ Native American elected to the United States Congress, the first openly lesbian person elected to the U.S. Congress from Kansas, and one of the first 2 Native American women elected to Congress. We are proud to share with everyone a special message from Representative Sharice Davis, marking this Pride Shabbat.
Sharice Davis here. I wanted to share a special message during your Pride Shabbat. The Reform movement has been advocating for LGBTQ plus rights since 1965, when the women of Reform Judaism called for the decriminalization of homosexuality. We have made a lot of progress since then. In 2009, the passage of the Matthew Shepard Act expanded U.S. federal hate crime law to include crimes motivated by the victim's gender, sexual orientation, or gender identity. And then in 2010, we saw that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed, allowing LGBTQ plus folks to serve openly in the military. And then in 2015, the Supreme Court declared that same-sex marriage is legal across all 50 states in Obergefell versus Hodges. And then last year, I had the chance to preside over the House floor as we passed the Equality Act, which would amend existing civil rights laws to bar discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, ensuring that all LGBTQ+ Americans can enjoy their most basic human rights, no matter where they live or where they work or where they go to school. Clearly, our work is not done. We still have to get the Equality Act through the Senate, and we have to continue to advocate until LGBTQ+ community members are treated with full equality and dignity, just like any other person under the law in our country, especially as we see the anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric and actions increasing across the states. This has been a very concerning time. I do want to say thank you to Rabbi Javier and the entire congregation at Beth Torah for holding this special Shabbat in honor of Pride Month. I know that so many people appreciate you all for that. And I'm just grateful to have the chance to work alongside you to create a more inclusive world. So thank you all so much. I will speak with you all again soon.
Thank you, Representative Davids and her staff, for taking the time to be with us on this Shabbat. We have all the simchas that we have shared on this special day. We offer a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of all those who mark their birthday, anniversaries, good news, and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. As we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community, together we join in song to mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'eheyanu v'timanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'eheyanu v'timanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh. Would like to invite our narrators for the sermon in song and turn it over to Leslie and our choir and band.
As Pride Month draws to a close, Jewish congregations across the United States are celebrating Pride Shabbat. If you've been here a while, you know this celebration is dear to our hearts. And if you're newish, we hope it comes as no surprise to you that at Congregation Beth Torah, we work to be diverse, inclusive, and welcoming. We believe that each of our voices offers its own unique and invaluable contribution to the whole. We work to lift up and amplify as many voices as possible and to work toward a just, vibrant, and inclusive community, both here at Beth Torah and in the world as a whole. We do our best to make sure all feel welcome. I would like to invite Alice Lenz to start us off with a poem that encapsulates what Pride Shabbat represents to us and our hopes for what we can be.
Sel Silverstein said, "Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be." Here at Beth Torah, we are the community that stands with that child or that adult who is told to listen to those mustn'ts, shouldn'ts, and don'ts. We hold your hand through your sadness. We hold space while you age. And we hold up our hands to bolster you. Anything can be, and we'll be right there beside you to make it happen.
Exclusion is a remarkably individual experience. You and I may be left out or kept out for the same reasons, yet have completely different feelings and reactions about it. Even if we are excluded as a group, each of us is likely to feel isolated and alone. When we belong to a group, we want to see ourselves in its representation. We want to see ourselves in its history. But that can be challenging when we have been historically barred from public recognition. We work together for a world where we no longer have to look hard to find our reflections in the world around us. But until then, Rabbi Dave Yedid's poem reminds us that if we look deeply enough, we can find ourselves hidden in the pages.
We Have Always Been by Rabbi Dave Yedid. I look back into history, poring over texts, sacred and profane, searching of some kind of opening where I can see myself, where I can see us. I search and find. Rejection from our communities and leaders, our existence hidden, shamed, criminalized, excommunicated, jailed, and killed. I keep searching and catch a glimpse of our vitality, our desire, our love, our bliss, our rebellion, our chosen family. In these glimpses, I see a sliver of light pouring out of the opening. I sprint toward it, our past, our present, our future, and with all my might, break the door off its hinges. I pant breathless. On the other side, I want to scream, but instead I whisper, "We are here. We are here. We have always been."
We are here. We always have been. Rabbi Yedid's words ring out as a reminder. We at Congregation Beth Torah pride ourselves on being a welcoming congregation. We show this in so many ways, from welcoming strangers and visitors and new members to reading and singing almost all of our prayers as one. We move seamlessly from unison to harmony and back again, reminding each other that we are not alone, but that we are in this together. Our first song includes Psalm 133. As the choir sings the familiar verse, Hine Matov, you may notice something a bit different. Instead of Shavat Achim Gam Yachad, we sing Shavat Kulenu. The songwriter chose to forego the gendered Achim for the more inclusive Kulanu, which means all of us. How good it is when all of us dwell together.
This is the sound of one voice singing. This is how it sounds. This is the sound of one voice singing. This is how it sounds. Oh, This is the sound of one voice singing. This is how it sounds. Oh, this is the sound of two. This is the sound of me with you. The harmony helps when I'm feeling blue. This is how it sounds. This is how it sounds when all of us sing. Voices sing in harmony, me and you and me, finding places where we agree. This is how it sounds as we say, This is how it sounds. This is the sound of us. Love, acceptance, and trust. Together we're stronger than when it's just.
The sound of one.
The sound of one.
The sound of one.
This is the sound of us singing as one. This is how it sounds.
While individualism is prized in so much of American culture, we choose no better. Community is baked into our prayers, our culture, and even our laws. And yet we still recognize the importance and contribution of the individual, of each and every voice. Think of a rainbow. Each color itself is beautiful, like each part in a piece of music. For instance, but when we start adding these individual colors together, something new and exciting starts to happen. When we reach out our hands to each other, when we start to build bridges, we start to build a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. Lovely, but we are missing context. Yet another line that reminds us where we are. we have context, foundation, but that alone doesn't bring the fullness that is possible. As we add our voices together, these beautiful individual strands weave together to become a holy whole.
I'm guessing that some of you behind me here were singing, because we do this song quite often, and it's very easy. And I gotta tell you, there's no community without all of you, so we invite you to sing with us one more time.
Our first and our last songs are from a play called Love, Faith. It chronicles the relationships of a group of friends as they fall apart and try to come back together again. Secrets and misunderstandings around identity cause rifts between both family and friends. The song Dear World, Love, Faith is built from the collection of letters Faith writes to her sister's one-time best friend. Faith's love, hope, and conviction, even from thousands of miles away, are strong enough to inspire the beginnings of healing.
Dear world, it's me again. I'm just writing to say hello.
Hey world, sending my love on the wind, and I'm wondering if you know.
People can be better than you ever thought they could.
Even when things seem darkest, there are sparks of good. And I'm right there beside you. You could see me if you would. Just close your eyes and take a breath. Focus on love and faith. Love, faith. Dear world, it's me again. I'm so glad we met.
Hey world, I'm just wondering how you've been. I know it's easy to forget.
People can be better than you ever thought they could.
Even when things seem darkest, there are sparks of good.
And I'm right there beside you. You could see me if you would. Just close your eyes and take a breath. Focus on love and faith. Love, faith.
Dear Rhiannon, I know, I promise one day I'll call you Rhi like everyone else. I guess I'm just used to being the baby sister. Thank you for telling me what happened between you and Lori. I'm so sorry for the bits that were my fault. I understand so much more now. You must have been so hurt. I sometimes wish I could go back and make things happen differently. I dream of a world, Rhi, where everyone can be whoever they want, where they can be whoever they are, and where everyone can just be. Everyone, everywhere. That's what I'm fighting for, you know. And I finally know that. Please know that I love you the same right now as I did before your last letter. You are perfect, just the way you are. Love, faith.
Dear world, it's me across the miles. How are you doing today? Hey world, I know it's been a while, so I'm just checking in to say I am here and doing okay, even though I feel so far away.
I've been all over the world now. And you know what? It's teeny tiny. It's just like this little old town. It just covers more square footage. Sometimes it's too small for big city ideas. Sometimes it's uppity and judgmental. Sometimes it's just plain mean. But at the end of the day, we're here for each other. At the end of the day, you know what we have, all of us? Love and faith. Sorry to sound like a broken record, but I don't know when I'll be able to write again. Take care of each other out there. Love, faith.
People can be better than you ever thought they could. Even when things seem darkest, there are sparks of good. And I'm right there beside you. You could see me if you would. Just close your eyes and take a breath. Focus on love and faith. Focus on love and faith.
May we all be filled with love and faith, and the strength to stand up for ourselves and others as we work to build a more just, inclusive community and world.
Thank you, everybody. Beautiful. That's our way of applauding without applauding. We have that. Forgot to put that one up there. We'll put it back again. So our service continues with Aleinu Leshabeach is on page 586. If you're able, please stand and join us.
Oh
what it seems now, the prehistory, a long time ago, like 20 years ago or so, maybe 30 years ago, when very few synagogues welcome LGBTQ families and individuals. There were a few congregations around the world, and I had read about one in San Francisco called Sha'ar Zahav, which means the Golden Gate. And so I was in fourth year rabbinical school, and I was dating my now husband, and so we went on pilgrimage to congregation Sha'ar Zahav, and they had this reading, and it was only in photocopy, so I asked them, could I please have a photocopy? And they were kind enough to give me. I was a rabbinical student, so they gave it to me, and now it's part of Mishkan Ga'ava. It's not that long ago. We all remember what it was like just 20, 30 years ago. They're trying to bring us back to that time, but we're not going to let them. So this is a prayer that since the early 90s, the congregation would read every Shabbat before Kaddish. O wellspring of life, remember today those members of our family who were martyred in years past because of their sexual and gender identity, those murdered by fanatics in the Middle Ages, those who perished in the Holocaust, and those struck down in our own cities in our own time. Remember all those who took their own lives, driven to despair by a world that hated them. And in mercy remember those who lived lives of loneliness, repressing their true nature and refraining from sharing the love with one another. O God, watch over their souls. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and help us bring an end to hate and oppression of every kind. As a congregation, we are observing the Shiva period for Arthur A. Metzler, Uncle Phil Metzler, and the Shloshim period for Lolly Davison, mother of Todd Davison, and grandmother of Gary and Rebecca Davison, Lois Scott, grandmother of Elizabeth Lenz, and great-grandmother of Alice Corbin and Alexander Lenz, and Henry Frankel, uncle of Lloyd Frankel. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzeits of members of our congregation: Jacqueline Arkin, Arthur Louis Feldman, Jerome Fishman, Amy Gayleen Fried, Sam Gordon, Henry Herman, Eva Miller, I. Marshall Napshin, Joan K. Napshin, Sidney Abraham Parkins, Dave Paris, Faye Pavlov, Brenda Safer, Ruth Tanzer, Sue Grebner-Wary. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we rise together as a congregation to recite Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadal shemei Rabba, ve'alma v'yivach v'tei v'michmar v'tei, b'chai yom yom v'chai kol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman karei v'yiru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba v'Rabba, le'olam u'le'olam. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yirman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalach shmei v'kudshah v'ri'u, le'elam mikol birchata v'shirta, tushkachata v'nechemata, dam yam yama v'yiru amen. Yehei shalom Rabba v'yishai, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yiru amen. Oseh shalom yimra, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yiru amen. Announcements. Aviva.
This is a Viva song. The announcements are coming and won't take too long. If you want to do some Jewish, you must do it wrong. This is a Viva song.
Shabbat Shalom. Here we are. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to every single person who made this service possible. Rabbi Katapan, Leslie Zucker, Rabbi Kleinman, Dave Zucker, and Lane in the back who made all of the sound possible and the live streaming. Our extensive Shalom squad who welcomed us all home tonight, and our choir. Carol Duchek, Estelle Edelbaum, Judith Epstein, Henry Gettle, Chris Gray, Jim Kaplan, Nick Levine, Edna Riley, Nina Schick, Denton Williams, and Andrea Zwiebelman. The band, Elizabeth Applebaum, Jim Applebaum, Gabriel Decker, Anna Latman, Ruby Pizer, Warren Sickle, and Joel Critchever. Our choir director, Warren Sickle. Our accompanist, Susie Adams. Our visiting musician, Randy Deutsch. And our narrators, Emily Albano, Joel Critchever, Alice Lenz, and Zach Zwiebelman. Wow. Thank you all so much. And now a few quick announcements. Our Shabbat celebrations will continue tomorrow morning. We have Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat conversation, at 9 o'clock a.m. All are welcome to join us in the library and also on Zoom. At 10:30 a.m., Caroline Simpson will become a bat mitzvah right here. So all are welcome to join us again in person, 10:30 a.m. here for the morning service, and it will be live streamed as well. On Sunday, all are welcome to join Rabbi Kleinman at Meadowbrook Park in Leawood for our first playground day of the summer. So join her to learn more about religious school. It will be a wonderful morning of playing and chatting and singing. So you don't want to miss it. And it is party time with Pick-a Parties. Pick-a Parties are a wonderful community builder and fundraiser here at Beth Torah. And we have not one, not two, not six, but 24. So 24 Pick-a Parties, which will take place between July and January. So you don't want to miss it, and these are the first 6 you could participate in: a guided canoe trip, booze, barbecue and board games, pickleball party, beer pairing party, be ready to bedazzle jewelry making party, and a Sunday morning bike and brunch. Those are just the first 6. So take a look online. We also have all of the information in the Ulam for during the Oneg. All right, and a few instructions for following the service. First, thank you very much to Rabbi Katapan and Chris Gray for sponsoring our light dinner in honor of Pride Month and Pride Shabbat. And something a little different this Shabbat is we are going to do Kiddush and Hamotzi together in the Ulam. So when you join us out there, we're going to wait for the buffet until we do the blessing. So grab some grape juice or wine and challah, and we'll come together for the blessings. And we have an incredible amount of falafel and chicken and everything that one could imagine. And we ask that you just take one to start. Take one to start, and then there will be many opportunities for second and third rounds. Shabbat Shalom.
I just want to know if the bike and brunch group and the booze and barbecue group, is that the same crowd?
Could be.
This is the same event. I am in.
So, but now I have to say something serious.
I'm sorry.
So
I am so
thank
sorry.
you very much, and thank you very much, but less serious. On November 27, 1978, the mayor of San Francisco was shot and killed in his office in City Hall. And that morning, also, Harvey Milk was assassinated. Holly Neer wrote Singing for Our Lives for a large gathering of people at the San Francisco City Hall that night. And Holly recalls, "And that night we all sang, 'We are gay and lesbian people, And for many, it was the first time they had said those words out loud about themselves. And then the song flew out and allies began to sing it, and the words changed to "We are gay and straight together," and the song found its way to the Unitarian hymnal and to Beth Torah. And then we learned a lot more about sexuality, and now I can't fit all the words into the meter of the song. LGBTQ rights, we reminded today, are intertwined with women's rights. Both are a result of our constitutional rights to privacy, the one that says it's none of your business. As we stand to sing our closing song, let us remember that we cannot have one without the other, that we are all in this together, that we are not ever going back. Please stand and join us.
We are gentle.